On Premier Networking with Avaya. Hosting with me today is John Stones, a member of our pre-sales consultancy team, and we're going to take you through the following agenda. So we're going to take you through what we believe is a significant opportunity with the Avaya data portfolio. John will then take you through Avaya's heritage in data. They are not a new player to this marketplace, and the key USPs that you can use with Avaya to compete against the other main vendors in the marketplace. I'll then close the webinar on the kind of service wrap that APSL can bring to the table for you as our channel partner, and what are the next steps if you come across any opportunities. So we're thinking this is going to take 35 to 40 minutes maximum, and we appreciate your time. So let's start running through the agenda. What is the opportunity with Avaya? So we believe it breaks down into three areas. Okay, the first and foremost, which is kind of a tradition with APSL and is core to what we do on a day-to-day business, is about enabling you as our channel partner to capture new customers. The second opportunity is about allowing you to then take that customer through an infrastructure refresh, and then finally leverage the USPs that John's going to talk about later to enable you for net new sale. So not just capturing a customer for support, actually providing them with brand new solutions around the Avaya data portfolio. So let's go into a little bit more detail on these now. Okay, so from a net new customer capture perspective, this is all about support as the initial opportunity. So to give you an idea of what the market opportunity for that installed base is, Avaya believe there are at least 250 existing legacy Nortel data networks. All right. Now these tend to be an enterprise size organization with at least 1,000 ports per deployment. So these are larger type customers that are probably invested in Nortel data as well as Nortel/Avaya voice, because they do complement each other. The bulk of that estate is maintained by our lovely friends at BT. And we know for a fact that BT have a program underway to converge and move those customers to Cisco infrastructure. So they're already getting messages around that, but that doesn't mean the customer has to go that way. These customers have generally been ignored and are unaware of the roadmap. They're certainly not going to be aware of any upgrade promotions or the cool new stuff you can do with Avaya data, so they'll be fairly ignorant to the Avaya messaging that's gone out to the marketplace. And generally BT charge high support costs. Okay, in our experience, an average contract of 1,000 ports is around £18,000 per annum, depending on the complexity of the customer. That would be a stack of edge switches rather than any hefty core components, which means there's a significant support opportunity out there, and I'll touch on the commercials a little bit later on. So, upgrade. So most of these estates are 3 to 5 years old, okay, if not older. All right, so they are ready for new technology. They will certainly be having demands from their user base to look at increasingly heavy data usage, whether that be at the core, at the edge, or remotely. Though, as I mentioned before, they're unaware of new developments from Avaya. So these guys are ripe for migration or upgrade to the latest and greatest Avaya platform, or a data vendor of your choice. Okay, so remember, APSL is a channel support company. We're not there to dictate to you what route your customers should be taking, although we can obviously help you take that Avaya message out to them if you want to do so. Average upgrade of 1,000 ports, around £50,000 to you. Okay, but here's a real key differentiator with Avaya versus, for example, Cisco. Your margin opportunity with Avaya is much, much higher. Okay, Avaya give really good discounts to us as a partner on the Avaya data portfolio, and we can pass that on to you, and I would be hoping you'd be making 25 points margin on an upgrade or a migration for a customer. And that's significantly more than Cisco. We hear regularly that Cisco are down to single-digit margin on product, and that the services make up the bulk of the margin. We're kind of both on that. You'll make margin on services as well as products. Okay, final opportunity is around net new sale. So what we've got up here is a little graphic that's come from Canalsys around year-on-year forecast growth for UK infrastructure. Okay, so if you look there, we've got a massive growth anticipated in wireless LANs, and Avaya have a portfolio around that. You've got network security, so the session border control boxes from Avaya all sit within that portfolio. Service provider switches and routers, so think of that as your data center opportunity. And it's not just service providers that are taking that, it's actual customers wanting to set up their own data centers with disaster recovery, with duplicated sites, and all that sort of stuff is exactly where Avaya play. And even a small increase in enterprise switches and routers. So the core edge and core switching architecture is expected to grow. So there's a definite opportunity here. I've also put in there a little graphic on what the UK demographic is. So if you look at the medium to large companies at the bottom of that graphic, there is a significant opportunity there. You know, your 1,000+ port customers, you know, there are over 12,500 people we can target with this message. And Avaya have some USPs we'll go on to later. Unfortunately, there are also a lot of people targeting that base, but not many of them with an Avaya data message. So we can use the Avaya brand again as a differentiator from the Cisco houses out there, the Brocade, the Juniper players, who all form the bulk of that reseller number in terms of their pitch. Obviously, we're including HP in that as well. So we can differentiate a message out to that market space. So that's what we see as the three opportunities. What's in it for you? So it's a three-stage revenue and margin proposition. It's about capturing the customer with the legacy estate. And we've mentioned that an average estate would come in at an £18,000 contract for you. It's then leading that customer down a technology roadmap for their refresh, migration, or upgrade, whatever you want to term it, with an average value of £50,000. And then you can lead that customer into new opportunity sales. And whether that's around wireless LAN, identity engines, data center, faster throughput core switches, whatever that may be, we anticipate there's at least £25,000 per customer at an enterprise level of opportunity there for you as our partner. So when you add all that up from a single site customer, that's a significant amount of revenue and margin. And there's 250 of those plus to go at from a customer capture perspective before you even open up the rest of the data infrastructure market. That's just focused on legacy Nortel customers. And I think that's a significant opportunity. But we've got to have a message to take to them. So I'm going to hand over to John now, and John will take you through where Avaya's data portfolios come from, but also some of the uniques you can talk to your customers about with our help to encourage that sale down the Avaya portfolio route. John, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Rob. So yeah, I'm John Stones. I'm part of the pre-sales consultancy team at APSL. I've got one slide on Avaya's data heritage, which I'll go through in a minute. Then there's, I think I've got 6 USPs, so unique selling points that I can talk to you about Avaya's networking portfolio, which makes it unique to the competition. So the heritage, so where does it actually come from? So it's a very mature product. It's been around for a long time now. It actually went back a lot further than Bay Networks, but I didn't want to spend too long on this slide. I've got the key decades now. So the key vendor we're looking at here, way back in the 90s, so mid-90s really, was Bay Networks. Was a very, very strong. It was top of its game, producing very cutting-edge networking products at the time. So that was the mid-90s. That was Bay Networks. And then in the late 90s, Nortel, obviously previously Northern Telecom, came along, which was traditionally a voice vendor at the time, looking to bolster its offering with some networking products. Purchased Bay Networks in 1998, obviously moving forwards with the name Nortel Networks, selling both voice and data in the convergence market space. And then, as we all know, it hit a few rough times in 2009, and Avaya came along and purchased Nortel. So it's worth noting that throughout this sort of 15-year or so phase that the development has been kept up, and all the companies involved have pushed the development and have put a lot of cost and time and effort into these products, and they've always been right at the top there, next to the likes of Cisco. So moving on, that's the heritage. Let's have a look at some of the key USPs. So, so Nortel and Avaya have been doing stacking for a long time now. So they were the first to the market with stacking. And although a lot of the competition have now caught up and a lot offer stacking capability, I believe that Avaya still has the best solution with stacking nowadays. It offers the fastest stacking in the market space, and it offers a lot of unique features such as the ability to replace a unit. So if a unit fails in the stack, we have the opportunity to pull that unit out and replace it, and that unit is automatically introduced into the stack. So it pulls down the latest software version and also the latest configuration to allow that that stack to seamlessly come back to life and carry on working. So what else can we do with this stack as well? So it's a bidirectional stack, so it takes the shortest path, so the traffic always flows the shortest path either direction throughout the stack. So as I said, it is the fastest implementation of stacking on the market. So that's a key, one of the key differentiators. Stacking is quite important in the edge. You want to be able to manage a stack as opposed to a series of individual switches. So that is important, and we do believe that Avaya has the best solution for edge stacking in the market space today. Let's moving on to the next USP. Is something called switch clustering. Again, Nortel first introduced this back in the sort of early 2000s, and again, it's a very mature solution now. So again, the competitors have sort of caught up, but they don't really do it as well. So what is switch clustering? So it allows us to create put a couple of core switches together and create a single entity. Then every single device, be that a server or an edge stack, can dual home into that single entity. So the edge devices see those two core switches as a single device. So if one of those devices was ever to fail, there will be absolutely zero interruption in the network, which is quite key for things like voice over IP. So you would not have a down, you wouldn't lose your phone call as such. Critical data services would not be interrupted. And the thing that makes Avaya's switch clustering better than the other vendors out there is that what's the key thing I'm trying to say here? We've introduced redundant and resilient routing on top of this as well. So all the layer 3 and routing protocols carry on working, whereas a lot of other vendors is based on layer 2 networking. So that's a lot better. So just the last point to cover there, it's a sub-second failover and recovery. So it's pretty instant. There is a slight delay, but it's not going to stop anything from working, which is the key point here. Okay, next one is a simple network design. So again, Nortel and now Avaya have always had this simple, what they call a two-tier network design architecture. So a lot of other vendors use a middle tier called a distribution layer. Now, Nortel and Avaya have always had the sort of philosophy of designing the network as simply as possible and just having the two tiers. So you literally have an edge connected into a core, and the product set that Avaya offers means that you don't have to have this middle tier distribution layer, which makes a lot easier to manage. The network and the protocols that run across the network are a lot simpler and easy to troubleshoot. So that's the key thing here. Okay, moving on. Energy efficiency is quite a buzzword at the moment. Everyone's trying to save power. You see this in data centers a lot, but there's things that we can do on a lot of our data networking infrastructure, especially around voice over IP. So when you generally when a phone system is rolled out nowadays, it's rolled out with IP telephony. And one of the key things we can do when it comes to energy saving on our networking devices is the ability to either turn off or run the network port in a sort of half power mode, which conserves a lot of energy. So when those phones aren't being used at night, they're running with a lot less power. So we can do things like turn the gigabit port into a 10100 port, which uses up a lot less energy, or either turn off those ports. So if there's normal desk users which will never use their phones between 6 and 8 in the morning, for example, we can literally just turn those ports off automatically. So it's all about looking to save power intelligently. So recently, Avaya have introduced a cost-effective 3500 series switch. So market demand has really brought this type of device out. So you're still getting a lot of the enterprise features, albeit you're losing some of the high setup. You're not getting the complete routing protocols as such. But you're getting everything you need from a day-to-day basis from a switch, and the cost level means we're very competitive with the likes of your HPs and some other vendors. So it has the full range of basic switching and basic routing. It gives you PoE and PoE plus capabilities. There's also a couple of smaller models, 3510 series, which allows us to operate without a fan, which is quite key for some environments. You don't really want a noisy fan buzzing away, maybe if it's on a desktop in an office environment. So, yep, that addresses a few of those issues. And the last thing, which again a lot of vendors aren't doing, but Avaya are doing their virtual networking based on standards-based technology. So they're using something called SPB to provide what we call a virtual fabric architecture. Avaya are calling this technology Fabric Connect. It allows you to basically put a virtual fabric over your entire network. So you might have a number of different sites, and you can create what's called a virtual fabric over all these different sites. And this is basically a self-maintaining, self-healing, self-provisioning network. So once it's been put in place, we can literally just turn on new services without having to touch the network in the middle. To do this in the past, we would have to go around, and the touch point will be on every single device in that cloud. Now, with this new type of Fabric Connect technology, once it's provisioned, it's a self-provisioning network. So this type of technology, and you'll start to see this coming up more and more nowadays, it's pretty new, this type of technology, but it allows for a lot, it's a lot easier to manage. So you don't spend as much time touching these devices and configuring all the components in the network. I think that's pretty much what I want to say on that one. And I think that's it from my book. So thank you for your time. And back over to Rob.
Thanks, John. So I think what you've seen there, guys, is some really simple stuff that you can start conversations with to your customer. It's a very simple thing to take out with just a little bit of knowledge. Okay, and I'm going to touch now on why that should be done with APSL. Okay, so our service offering is very, very comprehensive. Okay, so we have 29 certified engineers on the Avaya Nortel portfolio. They are backed up by a team of 7 certified pre-sales consultants with really deep expertise on the data portfolio. Okay, we are an Avaya data expert, so we hold that certification. So that means we have stepped up and met the highest level of service, the highest level of engineering capability, as well as the revenue goal that Avaya set within their Connect certification program. We have a very large number of reference customers. So if you are new to Avaya, but you want to provide an Avaya solution to a customer, you can use our reference customers to talk about how good the technology is, why they bought into it, and the service wrap that's available through APSL. We are very aggressive on pricing, especially on support. So if you want to approach a BT customer that has a Nortel, legacy Nortel data network, we know we can beat that price, allow you to make margin, and provide a better level of service to that customer. Fact, it's kind of what we do day in, day out. It's the bread and butter of our offering within this space. But most importantly, we can also help you get into this market space. So we can help you move into building a pipeline, attracting a customer base, taking a message out with the marketing support that we provide. Okay, so that's everything from you providing us with some data on some customers and us e-shotting that customer with a bespoke call to action from you, fully logoed up, through to telemarketing support to follow that campaign up and start building your pipeline for customers. Okay, I'll just press the slide on as soon as I work out how to do this technology. Okay, so what are the next steps? So I think that the next steps are for you guys to go away and think about where this proposition can fit within your sales teams. Okay, you will undoubtedly know a customer that has a Nortel network. You will undoubtedly have customers that have data requirements that perhaps you are not able to fulfill within your current expertise. That's exactly the sort of opportunity we're looking to engage with you on. Okay, if you're not currently an APSL partner, you can email your inquiry into sales@apsluk.com. If you're an existing partner, contact your channel account manager to work through with them exactly how we can help you on the engagement. Key bit, leverage our skill set. We have a ton of resource available to you as our channel partners. There is no reason for you not to leverage those people. Okay, and that can be everything from a scoping conference call with your end user or your prospect. We can design a scope of work with you. We can do basic network design for you and really hold your hand all the way through the engagement, right the way through to closing the deal and deploying the solution and supporting the customer afterwards and helping you gain additional sale once that customer's under support. So it is the full end-to-end proposition. And there's no commercial commitment from you guys to make this happen. We just need your time and effort to work with the APSL sales team to develop the opportunity. Okay, so I think that's a fairly simple proposition. What I'll do now is I'll just open the bridge up, he said confidently, to any questions. So I'm just going to unmute everybody. Undoubtedly we'll get some background noise. So does anybody have any questions?
That's how winning is done. Now, if
no, I don't think we have. Okay, so I'll mute the calls again. No problem at all. If you do have any questions after this event, you're more than welcome to email us. And a recording of this webinar will be put onto our YouTube channel, and we'll both put that on our Twitter feed and email out to you via your channel account manager. But thank you very much for your time today. It's just been less than 30 minutes, so we've covered that in really good time. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Cheers.